Hi, my name is Jeannie, and this is my podcast, Dreams to Reality. I'm also on YouTube, and I also post my videos on my courses as well. So, wherever you have seen this video or heard this audio, it's in one of those places, Dreams to Reality podcast, my YouTube under Jeannie Hermoso, and or in one of my courses. So today the topic is law of attraction demystified. So I'm going to demystify the law of attraction. I'm really like inspired because I enrolled in a Udemy course by Miriam Castilla. So you can check out her course as well on Udemy, Miriam Castilla, Castilla, Miriam. So it's in Udemy, her course, just type out her name. And the way she explained and just organized how the law of attraction works really just inspired me to create this video and to make this video. Also mentioned what she mentioned in that course. And at the same time, I'm adding stuff that I've learned as well throughout the years. So just as an introduction, what is the law of attraction? Basically, if you have not seen the movie The Secret, it's a documentary about how the universe works. Basically, thoughts become things. That's the basic gist of the movie or the documentary. In reality, thoughts do become things, but it's not as simple as thinking about something and then that something appearing into a reality. There's so much more nuances, and I will really explain it in a way that really makes sense and why we need to reprogram how our mind works so that it works for us rather than against us. And I'm going to be sharing the a sort of like a ebook or booklet that I created, and you can also get a copy of that one. And I'll be sharing this screen right now. And I've been doing multiple iterations of this video, but I add more and more things, and then you can check out the previous videos. It may contain like some similar information, but I keep adding to it because I just find the topic so useful and so important as well. So I'm going to share the screen. So I'm going to start with a quote by Alfred North Whitehead. So basically, he said, one of his quotes is, "Our minds are finite or finite. And yet, even in these circumstances of finitude, we are surrounded by possibilities that are infinite, and the purpose of life is to grasp as much as we can out of of that infinitude." So we, if you have been studying the law of attraction, or if you have not, usually they always say law of attraction works all the time. It's like gravity, but just really think about it. So the law of gravity it works all the time. It is what works in our physical reality, in our external reality right now. When you say the law of attraction works all the time, it means that it's ever present. It's how literally the universe works. It's a universal, one of the many universal laws of how reality works. So I think Ms. Castilla said that you attract who you're being, but other law of attraction practitioners also always keep mentioning that you attract who you are being. So this is the typical example that we see, like, you're meditating and you attract love, relationship, homes, and stuff like that into your reality. But for me, although I love the word law of attraction, it seems like it's something out there, but in reality, it's more like the law of projection. It's more like we project into our external reality who we are, and that's what we experience in our everyday life. Because when you say that, oh, I'm attracting this, it's like it seems as if we are not taking responsibility for what we are creating. It's like, oh, something outside of myself, I'm like magnetizing it in my life. but it's actually, you are not magnetizing it per se. You are projecting whatever you believe about yourself, your subconscious reprogramming from childhood or from your ancestors, or your beliefs about yourself, your assumptions. Um, you project that into the external reality. And I'm going to explain why. So we, as human beings, and I'm going to read this. According to our best theories of physics, the fundamental building blocks of matter are not particles, but continuous fluid-like substances known as the quantum fields. So basically, we are at our deep inside, we are energy. We are made of energy. If you look under a microscope, electron microscope, everything that we are, our cells, our atoms, our molecules, they are made of energy. They're vibrating, they're moving around. And we are just, our physical bodies have consciousness and we have awareness, but we are surrounded by, we're just a denser form of energy with a physical body, but within, like surrounding us is a fluid-like substance known as a quantum field, or let's see, sorry about that, known as the quantum field, or I like to call it like a soup of infinite potential or infinite possibilities. And scientists have discovered that 99.999% of us, if you really look into like our, like deep inside, we are like everything outside of ourselves, and even deep within like our cells and stuff, our structure, it's space. um we are made of space, like, and that space is what I would like to call, or what scientists call, like the quantum field. And that spaciousness is not inert, it's not doing nothing. It's in constant flow, it's in constant motion. And we literally are surrounded by the space of, or the fluid-like substance known as quantum field, or the space of infinite possibilities. But some scientists call, or some people call it the field of infinite possibilities. What is surrounding everything, the essence of everything, is it's the particles, the substances in itself are flowing, moving, and they are in a state of constant flux. And I'll explain later as well. And we are being surrounded by that. It's that field that we are surrounded with is the field of infinite possibilities. So quantum physics is the science of probability. And what they've discovered is that, and I think let's see, Ms. Castillo also explained it in her course as well. But this is how I represent it, because I'm one of those people, I have to like see it, you know. So this is how I represent it because it makes sense for me. So basically, the universe or external reality or space or the quantum field, anything is possible, but it's in a state of flux, and then it's in a state of um it's basically not collapsed yet. Let's just say it's just all possibilities right now. You haven't collapsed it into a single possibility yet. So what happens is that the quantum field, or the field of infinite possibilities, needs an intelligent observer in order to create a certain possibility, to collapse the wave into a particle and create like the external reality of what we think is possible. The only thing about that is that we have filters in space in place. This one is like an external representation, but it's actually a filter in your mind. Usually it resides in your subconscious mind. What it means is that we're not aware that we have filters in place based on our perception, beliefs, experiences, feelings, self-concept, assumptions. We have filters in place, and we project that we project that through the filter, and then externalize it into the field of infinite possibility. So what we think is possible is very limited. And one of my mentors said that it's like you have a filter in place. It's like looking through a pinhole, and this is all that's possible. And you're just focused on that single, like, little pinhole that you can see that this is what you think is possible, but literally anything is possible. So there's and I'll explain that more. So basically what it says, scientists have discovered is that the field of potentiality which surrounds us, it's a soupy matrix that surrounds us, that is around us, that is like entangled with us, needs an intelligent observer in order to make sense. And so we move into, so I'm following the flow, and then adding some additional things. I'm following the flow of Miss Miriam Castilla's explanation because it makes more sense to follow that flow. So basically, our intention, and this is what she said, the universe knows what you want because you thought of it once. Mind is powerful, it creates reality. Once you have entangled with that idea, it is linked with you. Thoughts of mass, your thoughts of mass, direct thoughts communicate to the quantum field of infinite potentiality, or possibility, and you direct those thoughts. You are the creator of your life. You have to match what you desire in terms of frequency and vibration. Basically, because of quantum entanglement, our intention, we project our intention to the field of infinite potentiality, and the field of infinite potentiality will sense those thoughts or intentions and then recreate that in the external reality. So I'm going to explain quantum entanglement. So quantum entanglement is a bizarre, counterintuitive phenomena that explains how two subatomic particles can be intimately linked to each other, even if separated by billions of light years of space. Despite their vast separation, a change induced in one will affect the other. So when you set an intention, you project that into the field, the quantum field or field of infinite possibilities, and the quantum field of possibilities will collapse the potentiality and create that single probability or possibility that you have intended or focused on. Basically, that's the simplest explanation. So she used an analogy, and I have also written about it, like, I think 2 years ago, I think. Yeah, I wrote a book, Dreams to Reality, which is where this podcast is based. Because I also read it somewhere in one of the many books I've read. And it's about, like, the universe is like a cosmic kitchen, because it literally is. So let's say this is the field of infinite possibility, and this is like the universe. It's asking, like, okay, what do you want? What do you want to project into the field of infinite possibility? So it's like ordering from the cosmic kitchen. And just like ordering from a cosmic kitchen or any kitchen, you have to actually be clear that that is what you want to order. Let's say you go to a restaurant and you say, I want to eat salmon. I want to order salmon. Okay. Waiter goes in. We don't have to know how it's cooked. We just, really, our job is to just make an order, but specific. Like, I want this salmon, this type of salmon. I want it grilled with side salad and stuff like that, with blue cheese on top. Who knows, what you like to order. And then the universe will just, will comply, because that's how the field of infinite potentiality works. But if you are not clear on your intention, let's say after a few seconds you said, wait, I want to order beef or a steak, and then, okay, but then you cancel your order again. I'm like, nope, I want to order chicken. And then, so like, the field of infinite potentiality is like, well, okay, so what do you really want? So it cannot collapse that field into particular probability or possibility, because you are not clear on that intention. So that's the best explanation I can say. So anything is possible in the field of infinite possibilities. So when you are not creating an intention but we create all the time anyway, and most of it is unconscious. So the quantum particles go back to potentiality. Let's say, okay, I'm not going to order anything yet. So it's just going to stay in that potentiality. But most of the time, because the field is always connected to us, we are connected to the field, we have subconscious thoughts and feelings, emotions, beliefs. They're always projecting, but unconsciously, we don't know this, but we're not actually conscious all the time that this is what we're projecting. And just an example, because I really like to cite like an actual example. Let's say you find a new job, and then you somehow have the same type of bosses, like they're very domineering, and then they're very like they're not nice to you, but the previous job that you left was the same type of boss. And you know why? Because unconsciously you are projecting that same beliefs into the field of potentiality. Like, so you in a way are recreating the same thing, projecting into your external reality the same type of thing, like the same type of people. So that's when choice comes in. It's like, okay, I'm not going to choose that, but I'm going to talk about it much later on. um, this is just to explain how it works, why we're projecting all the time. So we might as well project what we desire rather than not what we desire. So quantum particles are the smallest physical particles that can exist. Sorry about that. I'm just stretching. Sorry. Yeah, sorry, I'm stretching. So quantum particles are the smallest physical particles that can exist without being broken down. So they're the building blocks. So quantum particles have this duality. They are waves or particles. So when they are waves, they are in that field, they are in that potentiality mode. When they turn into particles, they've collapsed, the waves have collapsed, and then you've turned it into that one possibility. So that's what I was talking about earlier, about collapsing the field and then solidifying it into that single possibility of attracting the same type of boss. So the way the quantum field or infinite potentiality field of potentiality works, it's like so your job really is to tune into the reality you desire. It's like and I use this analogy, and my favorite author, Michael Lozier, is very good at explaining it. It's like literally all possibilities exist, but we just tune into the radio station that we desire. But I'm not big on radio anymore, so I usually have cable or Netflix. So it's like a radio station or cable TV. All types of shows exist, and your job is to just choose which channel. So this is where choice comes in, because if we are projecting all the time and most of it is unconscious, why not project something that we consciously desire instead of like living by default? Why not pick the channel or pick the show that we want to create? And a lot of people, because a lot of us are unconscious. I used to be unconscious too before, by the way. But if you're watching this, of course, you are no longer unconscious. You're starting to wake up. So basically, what happens is that sometimes when you're unconscious, you're just watching the show that's like a rerun. It's like let's say family drama and trauma, and I've been there, done that. It's just family drama, trauma, and it's like the same show. And before that, your mom and dad had that same family drama and trauma, and before that, your grandparents had family trauma and drama, and that was the channel that existed. But what if you can just choose something different? And that's what I did. I chose something different. I live in a different country right now, and I chose something different. And because all things really are possible, all things exist in a state of potentiality. So therefore, all things are possible. And if all things are possible, why not think of or choose the possibility that you want instead of the possibility you don't want, right? So, and I'm going to illustrate, and this is my take on this one. And it's been mentioned so many times in, when you watch law of attraction videos or you read law of attraction books, they always mention this, that all things are possible. But I'm one of those people, I just want to see like an actual example of this rather than just taking their word for it. So a few years ago, I was in North Carolina, and I actually went to Kitty Hawk, North Carolina, where the first airplane was invented by the Wright brothers, Wilbur and Orville Wright. So I was in that same runway where they flew the first airplane that they invented out of bicycle parts, and then it just flew for like 75 feet in a few seconds. But that was enough. But at that time in the early 1900s, people were thinking they were crazy. People were saying like, you can't build a flying machine, it's not possible. But because they had a vision and they didn't think the same way, and then I think they probably instinctively knew about the field of infinite potentiality, which is all things are possible, because they didn't look through that same pinhole that everybody at that time was looking at. So everybody else was looking through that small pinhole, like this is the only thing that's possible. But they looked outside of that, and then they said, you know what, anything is possible, we can create a flying machine. And then they did, through projecting their thoughts. And then of course they also created action as well, like they literally invented the whole thing through their aligned action, and then through their intention they projected that into external reality. Same with automobiles too. Before that, people were driving horse-drawn carriages. And I actually spoke with someone he's in his 90s. Yeah, he's in his 90s. And he actually told me about his parents that they lived to be in their 90s as well. And he told me that how his parents lived in a time when the automobile was just invented. But before that, he said that he remembered them telling him that there was actually a time when people were still riding horse-drawn carriages. And I'm like, okay, so in the 1800s, uh, obviously an automobile was not what was possible, what they didn't consider as a possibility. But in the 1900s, the automobile got invented, and then they realized like, yeah, or the inventor realized that this is possible. But the people before then who were used to the horse-drawn carriage were thinking that's not possible. But because anything is possible, literally, it was made possible by the people who set an intention and then projected that into the field of infinite possibilities. And then same with the rocket ships, the moon landing rockets. Right now, they said people before the 1960s said it's not possible to go to space. It's literally impossible. But then in the 50s, in the 60s, they started inventing rocket ships, and they proved them wrong. And same with the telephone. I think it was invented in the late 1800s, probably early 1900s. They said you cannot talk to someone from in such a great distance, because like it's not possible. But because the inventor Alexander Graham Bell thought about it, he set an intention like, this is what I think is possible, I'm going to project it into the field of infinite possibilities. He came up with an idea, and then he invented the telephone. Same with cell phones as well. This was, I think, invented in the 1960s, 1960s and then 70s. they thought that, I don't think that's possible to have wireless telephones, because at that time, it was, everything had to go through the wire, like the phone lines. But the people that invented the cell phone or developed the cell phone thought differently. They thought anything is possible. Same with electricity as well. Before Thomas Edison as well discovered the light bulb, people were saying like, the only way that you can see in the dark is when you have gas lamps or candles. And incidentally, there's still a place in New York that has the gas lamp, which is like, oh, okay. So apparently, years ago, before the light bulb was invented and before electricity was discovered, um, people used gas lamps outside, and someone had to light them up. And that there's a place in New York that still has that, the gas lamp. It was really cool. It's amazing though that still exists. Anyway, even this one, I think in the 1940s, it was impossible to run a mile in 4 minutes or under 4 minutes. So it was literally an impossibility, but one guy did it. And then after that, everybody right now, even high school students can do it, because, tapping into the field of infinite potentiality, anything is possible. And this one is an old invention, the 1700s, the printing press. Let's see, when was I may be wrong on the dates. The printing machine may have been invented before that. Yeah, okay. So anyway, let's say it was in the 1700s. So the people were writing books, transcribing books by hand. And then suddenly the printing press was created, like, printing. And then they just stamped it on the paper and stuff like that. At that time, they were like that. It's impossible to mass produce books. And then, of course, now we have eBooks. So anything really is possible. So how does this all connect? How can you make use of this knowledge? Like, okay, so anything is possible. How can I project what I think is possible in my mind into external reality? You do that by rewiring your brain. And how do you rewire your brain? And Ms. Castilla explained it. Mentally rehearse what you want to direct your neurons or your mind or subconscious mind to think, because the subconscious thinks that everything is happening right now. So if you rewire your brain and think of your desire as is already there, like in your mind, mentally rehearsing. And I love the word mentally rehearsing, because that's what Olympians do. So let's just say it's not visualizing, but mentally rehearsing. I love that word. I think we'll use that from now on. Mentally rehearsing of the future reality you are trying to create. You are already living in that state, and it starts to feel normal in your conscious and unconscious mind. And you're doing this consistently for 4 minutes at least. So since the subconscious mind cannot tell what is real and what is imagined, it's basically what you're doing is out picturing the old picture. And since you're out picturing the old picture, guess what? Your external reality will shift and change. So visualize by seeing a picture or pretending, and mind thinks in pictures. And what I like about what she mentioned is that the mind or subconscious mind does not like two opposing ideas. So replace it with a new one, new goal or new idea. It likes repetition, it likes novelty. So, and she mentioned like Olympic athletes, they actually visualize, and it's true, they visualize in order to what you call that, win. And it actually enhances their performance as well when they mentally rehearse or they visualize. And I was just watching a documentary about what's his name, Tiger Woods. So apparently when he was young, 6 or 7 years old, even younger, he was already like mentally rehearsing. Of course he started young as well, but he was mentally rehearsing, and he was visualizing already to be one of the greats. And The same with many great athletes as well. They visualize. And I think Michael Jordan at one point he was rejected in like his high school team because he wasn't that good, but he was mentally rehearsing and he really truly believed in himself, and eventually he became the greatest, one of the greatest athletes of all times. um Also, there's like a new study right now with people with spinal cord injuries. They actually included part of rehearsing or like visualizing that they can move, and they actually regained some function. So it's just really amazing how the world and life works. So, how we create the loop. And so, this is how we create the status quo. And this is really important to remind you that if you are not living consciously, if you're living unconsciously, you will be trapped in that loop unless you wake up. So, this is us. So, we're unconscious and we're projecting into our reality what we believe, is possible. Our filters, with our filters in place, we think like, okay, this is all that is possible in my reality right now. I can't shift and change anything. So what happens is when we look at our external reality, let's say you're in um a bad situation. What is a bad situation? Let's say your family, your family trauma and drama, and a lot of people live with that. So your reality is like, your parents don't get along, and that's all you see day in and day out. And then that's, you think, is the only reality there is. When you look at your external reality, which is really just projected thoughts that are already done, they're already done. When you look at your external reality and then focus on that, that becomes your cause, because you're like, oh, okay, I'm miserable right now, I'm never going to get out of this. And that you focus on that, you keep focusing on your external reality, that becomes the future cause. And then you're just creating it, recreating it. So the next day you look at your external reality again, it's like, oh yeah, I'm miserable, my life's never going to change, my family sucks, it's never going to change. And then that thought becomes your new cause again, and then therefore the following day you recreate that again. But what if, and that's how we recreate the loop actually, but what if you work on this, the unconscious, work on your unconscious mind? So I'd like to give this explanation because like I like tangible like examples. So basically external reality is like a mirror. It's literally just providing you with feedback. It's just telling you, hey, this is what you've created. This is it. What you've created doesn't mean that you can't create something different. But if you are stuck on looking at your external reality and it's not changing, guess what? Because of the loop, you'll just, the next day, it's not going to change. So it's just literally, but once you realize external reality is actually helping you, it's just telling you, hey, this is what you've created for now. Doesn't mean that this is fixed. It's just what you've created for now. And therefore, it can become an important tool. It's like, okay, I haven't achieved my goal yet. It's a feedback. It's a good feedback. Okay, what can I do differently? So it's always, what can I do differently? And that will change your whole reality if you think that way. What can I do differently that will shift and change my external reality? So to get out of the loop, you have to reprogram your subconscious mind, rewire the brain, use repetition, law of assumption. Assume you're already living in your reality, because remember, your subconscious mind doesn't know what is real or not. So if you're rehearsing, mentally rehearsing your desired reality, guess what? If you're out picturing the old picture, that will create a new picture. And meditation, of course, visualization, superconscious recode, and affirmations. And when I say affirmations, I'm not saying just, nonsensical affirmations or standard affirmations like I'm rich, I'm rich, I'm rich, Um, what I'm saying by affirmations is personalized affirmations. Let's say right now, um, people mistreat you, like people disrespect me. So that's your affirmation, right? And that's what you create in your external reality. But if you personalize it and turn it into something positive, and you say, when that thought comes up, like, oh, people always disrespect me, and then you just create something different, like, people are starting to respect me. I'm a respectable person. People respect and admire me. Guess what? Once you keep on repeating it and just neutralizing the old self talk that you had that was negative, guess what? You will outpicture the old picture. You will neutralize the old thought pattern, and you'll create something different. And it's the same with and they a lot of the law of attraction teachers are always using this analogy of the wheat field. So basically, let's say you're in a wheat field and you walk on that wheat field once. So basically, when you look back, you won't see a clear path. But if you keep walking the same path every day for several days, they say basically at least 21 days to reprogram your subconscious mind. Guess what? The path that you're creating, it's going to be clearer each day. And that's how the neurons in our brain works. When we rewire our brain with new thoughts, new assumptions, new beliefs, uh, meditating, visualizing, all of those things, we create like more like a new neural pathway, and we reinforce it with every day, we reinforce it. Guess what? The path becomes clearer and clearer each day. Okay. So anyway, I hope this explanation has really helped you a lot. I really love this topic, and I love that I have a flow now, because before, when I learned about the law of attraction, I learned it piece by piece. And it was kind of hard, like, because, like, yeah, why do I need to think positive, or why do I need to visualize? But if no one really explains to you, like, why exactly you need to do something, it won't make sense. But hopefully this makes sense, and hopefully this helps you. Do like, share, subscribe to my YouTube, Dreams to Reality podcast, my YouTube, and I'm at TikTok at Mystic Genie 88, and do check out my stores, because I actually have tools. This one, the Perfect Day Meditation, and I have other tools as well that I use, so that, and I have more newer tools as well, um, that I use to change my external reality. And I have a new course as well here. And anyway, it's my store is stand.store/Mystic Genie 88. I have a new course. It's Create the Love That You Desire, a 30-day guide. This has new tools there, just in case you want to create the love that you desire. Either you're single, or you're in a relationship, or you want to reattract the old lover or something. And anyway, you create the love you desire. And this has really powerful tools there. I'm in the process of creating like a money course. And because I already have, and it's in my stand store, I already have the goal setting store or course. And that would really help a lot if you're just starting in this one. Even if you're not starting out yet, it's really going to help, because I really made sure that there's like a certain order to things, because I've been there and I've done that. I've took so many courses, have so many certifications, and it's like, help me make this make sense. I was so confused. I was like, yeah, I mean, how does it make sense? But the way, like, I've explained things makes it make more sense, because I'm one of those people. I like the flow. I like to explain things in a way that's logical and makes sense and brings everything together, because I believe that we are holistic beings. We're not just made of energy. We have physical aspects as well. We have emotional aspects. We have the conscious. So by learning this, you're working with your conscious mind, but at the same time, we also have an unconscious aspect. And I believe in bringing all of that together, um, just unifying all aspects of self. Because if your conscious mind wants to go that way, your unconscious mind wants to go that way, guess what? There's no movement, you get stuck. And also, if you don't work with your emotions as well, you are ignoring another, like the inner feedback as well. You're ignoring that. So I have clearing tools, I have everything. Also, if you don't incorporate your higher self as well into this, it's like you're going to be blinded as well. And so I really, really believe that since we are holistic beings, I try to work with all aspects of self to be in alignment. And thank you very much for watching this. I'm going to stop the share. Thank you very much for watching this. And I really appreciate you watching this. There is a free ebook. Just look at the show notes below if you're watching this on YouTube, or if you're listening to this in a podcast. And anyway, if you are watching this in a course, in one of my courses, you already have that free ebook. Okay. Thank you very much for watching, and create the life you desire.